song ideas. Do you want to do some music with me? And they went, hell yeah. So I said, okay, let's book some practice time and see what happens. We wrote like 5 songs that hour, just rocking out. And I said, you guys want to go on tour? You want to make a record? And they're like, tails wagging. It's the best bandmates I ever had, because everything I wanted to do, they went, okay. Because you'd say to my old bandmates, hey, let's go play in Moscow. Like, Moscow's a long plane ride, and they won't have the date. I'm like, really?
It sounds like in the basement with that song,
like we get to go to
right?
Moscow.
They didn't want to hear they rebelled against you.
Yeah. Like, my feet will hurt. I'm like, really?
So the belly acres,
When we get to go to Russia, you don't want to go.
Yeah, right.
For me, rock and roll is a ticket to see the world.
Yeah.
Like, how else are you going to get to go to Japan? Like, one, as a tourist? Who has the money?
Yeah.
And so I said, like, let's go to Russia. And then my band went, I said, you know what? You guys are, your ice is getting thin. So I said to I'd say to these guys, because they never played outside of L.A. I go like, you want to go to Europe? They're like, go to Europe? As Mark E. Smith used to say, like pilgrims with free milk. And they're like, hell yeah. And so their first gig out of town with me was opening for Metallica in a soccer stadium in Portugal. And they're like, look here, like, is this really me?
Wow.
And that was.
And not belly aching about the plane ride.
No, I'd say, fellas, you're like, we're gonna go play in Russia on this.
No,
tour.
I know exactly what it's this kind of what do you call it, quote unquote musician sense of entitled. I mean, these cats, they can feel a pee under 45 mattresses.
Yeah. And I
see, but I think you doing that work you were talking about the other duty earlier.
Yeah.
That got you so you don't take things for granted.
Yeah, like,
so it wasn't a total waste.
Well, no. But you know what I know.
Yeah.
You know the van and not sleeping, and driving on no sleep and playing on no sleep and like sleeping on a couch and getting the last band's parasites on your body. I mean, like, that's the life. But it trains you for later life. Because to this day, anytime I eat, I never take a meal for granted. I'm always grateful.
Yeah.
Even, this morning I ate, I'm like, wow, food. Because I remember not having it. It's not like I'm, starving to death. But all of us indie punk rock guys from back in the day remember the 3 meals James Brown used to say: no meal, missed meal, and whatever meal. You know what I mean? and or small meal. And to this day, it kept me very grateful and very hardworking. And once my bandmates got this, well, I need my. I'm like, really? Okay, I now see the use by date on your forehead. And the Mother Superior guys, we worked at the speed of meat, which is like insanely on wind sprint speed. We're right tour record, right. That's all we did for like 5 solid years.
Yeah.
And we did like 5 studio albums, 2 live albums. I mean, and we toured like insane men.
Yeah.
And because every time I say, fellas, we just got back, it's a Christmas break. You want to be back on the road by April? They're like, yeah. And I said, how about Mother Superior open for the Rollins Band and you guys would do 2 sets a night? Thanks, Henry. Not, oh, my fingers hurt. And they were so
Ernest Cats.
Yes. And that track that you were just playing, where I had the voice all pitched down. I said, fellas, I'm going to do this thing. We're going to pitch my voice down. I've got this voice sample. I said, I need just a steady beat. We laid that down. I said, now, Jim, the guitar player, I want some piano, kind of, sort of, like hyperbolic, syllabic, sesquidalemistic, hot buttered soul. Block chords, like a little McCoy Tyner. Just like grooving with it. Big, blocky chords. And he said, okay. I said, you can do that? 1 take, thank you. Wow. And whenever I had an idea, hey, can we do a song that has a feel like this? They would just pick up the instruments like, into it. Like, let's write it right now. Wow. Never, no, I can't be here. And it was such a joy to get in a practice room with people who just want to make music with no elitism, no star trips, and no whining. Man, it was good.
That's a good crew.
Oh, man, that was just...
We're at the end of the second hour, January 18, 2014. Our special guest, Brother Matt, Mr. Henry Rollins. Hold tight for hour 3.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. That's the most precious gift.
And it's rare, too, man.
Yeah, because human beings are weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're surprisingly lightweight.
They
You
are.
know, like I survived 5 years of Black Flag. My life has just been a dream ever since. I mean, nothing was harder than that. Nothing I've dealt with tour-wise was ever harder than that.
So you've seen some heavy shit going to talk to the soldiers, huh?
Yeah, I did 7 USO tours. That was how I protested the invasion and occupation of Iraq. I was against that war as much as anyone else. And so at one point, the USO contacted me. And they said, we don't know who you are, you know, but we have a sign-up sheet at every base in the world. Like, who would you like to have materialize here tomorrow morning? Your name keeps coming up. So it comes up so much that we have found you. Would you like to go hang out with the troops and on behalf of the USO? I said, okay, fair warning. Go on the internet and look me up. Just type my name into Google and watch what happens. I recommend watching this, and this, so you can hear what I think of Cheney, Rumsfeld, Bush, Iraq, all of it. So you should know what you're getting before you fly me to a forward operating base in Afghanistan or Iraq, because I'm not into this war at all. And they said, duly noted. And I said, well, we'll never hear from them again. They get a phone call a couple of days later. They're like, wow, you're a very opinionated person. I'm like, yep. He said, well, how do you feel about the troops? I go, the troops I got no problem with. They're just taking their orders. It's the higher-ups I got disagreements with. Infantry, I'm good to go. They said, okay, well, we'd like you to be involved. And I said, so put me in, coach, I want to play. At the end of 2003, they sent me to Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, and a few places in the United Arab Emirates. And I became a USO person. Egypt, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Honduras, Djibouti, first ever USO entertainer in the history of the USO in Egypt. Doha, Qatar, Bahrain, multiple trips into Afghanistan, Iraq, and it was hugely educational. I mean, to see the war, or whatever we're going to call it, from that access point, to be living in the green zone for a week and hear bullets all night, to be in a mortar attack, which I was. I'm not trying to make you think I'm brave or tough, because I'm neither. But I was on a base, and right outside the building we were in, which is built to take a mortar attack, 2 mortars hit right outside the building. They could drop mortars on this building all day, nothing's going to happen to us. But they said, sir, we'll warn you, there's a guy who throws a couple at us every day, it's just kind of the weather. And within 20 minutes, boom, boom, right outside. And, you have to wear body armor and a helmet just walking around. And, flying around from base to base in Black Hawks, it was fascinating. And I would, tell these soldiers, I'm like, I'm not into the reason you're here, but I'm into you. And these soldiers would, they all know who I am, the guy with the big loud mouth and the music and all that. And soldiers would pull me aside and they go, sir, call me Henry. And they're so dialed in. Sir, I just so you know, I'm a liberal and I'm a Democrat and I don't like this war, but I'm supporting my buddies and I'm in the Army, I'm into it, and thanks for saying what you say and thanks for coming to visit us. And to this day, man, I'll be somewhere at this market, somewhere, and some guy will come up to me and, hey, I'm a Vietnam War vet, heard you did USO, I want to thank you. I'm like, okay. They go, you don't know what that means to a soldier when you guys would show up. I'm like, okay, thanks. They go, no, you don't get it. It's everything. I said, well, no problem, man. And I did multiple visits to Walter Reed, Bethesda Naval Hospital, and that was, I did a lot of that too. So I did the stateside, I did the international for years. And these, those hospital visits are rough. Because, they're I'm older. I'm like their dad's age. They're like kids at 20, 22, 2 legs gone, half a face gone, testicles gone, 1 lung gone, like every kind of configuration of mutilation. Meanwhile, married, 2 kids. It's just stories that will, peel the paint off your car. Really tough. Yeah.
Let's start this third hour.
Makes
That's
you very
great that
solid
you
in
do
your
that.
anti-war
Yeah, that's awesome.
stance.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, very cool.
January 18th, 2014, third hour, Watt from Pedro show.
I keep thinking we're doing the radio show.
Yeah, you never know what's on behind the scenes.
Okay, that wasn't part of the show?
No, that wasn't.
Oh,
That's
That
I'm
was-
doing a Dave Markey this
He,
time.
he just asked you a question about.
yeah. I thought we were like basically.
Well, I didn't know to start. I didn't know what the question was going to be. I didn't know, but I'm sure he's glad to know. You told me a little bit about it.
Yeah.
And so.
It's an interesting,
Yeah, very.
interesting thing to do. A lot of interesting people were part of the USO. A lot of comedians. People like Robin Williams. Letterman, Leno. A lot of people. A lot of jocks. A lot of big athletes. Aerosmith, Stevie Nicks. A lot of very
that's
eclectic
interesting.
grouping of people.
Watt from Pedro show. We started the third hour off with Devin, Gary, and Ross. Gary Panner, huh?
Huh?
Gary Panner, Jimbo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
See Through Windows. This is a band. He's in a trio. Then the Manic Glow with Some Days Are Gray. You know the Manic Glow?
Oh.
Jack from TSOL.
Oh, he's an interesting guy. You read his book? I hear the book's amazing.
Brother Jack.
He is something else. I mean, that guy, he's keeping it real. I always respected him.
Yeah.
He's very, very talented.
After that, we heard Awareness for Backward Generation, Kevin Siegel. Painter Man by The Creation. Remember this?
Yeah. I got turned on to them by the Who's Skidoo.
I heard
Grant Hart,
the
I think.
bow thing before Jimmy Page.
Aha.
Creation. There's some kind of, I think Shel Tamley, there's some connection with the managers for some minutes. Chupacabra, Rock and Roll, Blood Drain Cows. That's Greg Turner,
Oh, cool.
right?
Yeah.
He's teaching calculus out in New Mexico. I got his head last week. Howie Reeve,